Hey D&Ders, welcome back to Drop the Lowest, it's just me, where I like to discuss some of the things that I see in the D&D community, D&D world, and sometimes go against conventional thinking. Today, I wanted to talk about ability checks. This is something that I feel has been flipped or has been the same way for a long time. And I, the old adage is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, if you've done it the same way the whole time, that doesn't mean it's right or that there's not a better way. And so I think they were really onto something. I think they were really onto something in D&D with a couple of the changes they were making in 5e. And I wanted to go over them. So you have your abilities, okay? You have your strength, con, dex, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. And you have checks. So you pick your class, you pick your background, you have all these extra bits, and you get skills. You get all these skills. You get athletics, acrobatics, animal handling, heck, religion. You get all these skills. And you get to, be proficient in those skills. However, I feel that just to roll that to see if it works, I don't agree with that. In fact, what I think should be done is I think all of your skills that you are proficient in should adhere to more of the passive checks. I feel the passive checks are exactly where those fall in. If you take a master carpenter who is very proficient with a T-square, I think more than likely, without much effort, that carpenter is going to get that. It's going to get that plumb. It's going to be square almost every single time. On a rare occasion, I find that they might mess up. And doesn't that make sense? The more proficient you are, even to the point of expertise, that the amount of chance is not important, not realistic. And they were onto this in D&D 5e. For instance, in certain situations, they talked about if a skill challenge or a skill challenge, which those are great. We'll talk about those some other time. But a skill check, if it's 10 or less, consider just letting them pass. Why? If it's a 15, if it's an 11, roll. If it's a 12, roll. Why if it's a 10? The other thing is that you have passive checks. Now, just passive checks. A passive check is a special kind of ability check that doesn't involve any die rolls, such as a check can represent the average result for a task done repeatedly, such as searching for secret doors over and over again, or it can be used when the DM wants to secretly determine whether the character succeed at something without rolling dice, such as noticing a hidden monster. A great example of this is the passive perception, which if you take certain feats, classes, and everything, you can really hit a huge passive perception. And that's okay. Why not? I mean, what's wrong with being, like that seeker class that just, God, I feel like there's something over there. There's a hidden trap or something. Why not? However, the issue to me comes in where now all of a sudden you've got an 18 passive perception. The DM's going to be like, oh, yeah, well, then easily we have to make these traps and everything a 20, 25, hidden doorways or a 30, and you have to roll for that. I don't like it. So for passive checks is 10 plus all modifiers that normally apply to the check. Okay. So, and a couple of things that are mentioned there earlier, your passive perception and even your passive investigation. There's another section that talks about passive investigation. Instead of calling them passive, why don't we just instead call them active. In terms of these are skills that we are proficient in that we can use at a moment's notice. They're already running in our head. They're already there. They're already almost in use because in certain situations we're already thinking about using that skill as we go along, thinking multiple steps ahead. So instead of calling them passive, let's call them active checks. And passive checks or chance checks, whatever else you want to call those, let's say those are the skills that you are not proficient in or have any expertise. Fine. I'm good with that. However, if you have an 18 perception, why, if there's a hidden door over there, what caused that rogue or bard or whoever to not be able to see that hidden object? Well, they rolled a 1. Okay. So what does that mean? Did the player stumble? Did it all of a sudden become more dark? What caused that person that is so good at that skill to just be like, meh, flip it? I'm not buying it. I don't think so. So here's what I'm going to put forth to everybody. Change the way you play. Homebrew. This is homebrew number 1. If you have any proficiency in a skill, you treat it as a passive check. Period. If you are not proficient in that skill, you roll. Easy enough. Follow the passive rule for any skills that you are proficient and have expertise in. For anything that you are not proficient in or have expertise in, you roll for it. Because I feel that if you don't know what you're doing, like if you're not a religious person and that's not one of your skills, sure, roll. Maybe you have a slim chance of remembering something from your character's childhood where they're like, oh yeah, I remember this story, blah, 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 blah. We're not supposed to fight trolls and we're supposed to pray to so-and-so for fire. Great. Awesome. That's fine. Yes, I think there is a slim chance, and that's where the roll comes into me. For something that a character has worked extremely hard for, why do they have such a high fail rate? That just does not make sense to me. It doesn't happen in real life, and I know we're trying to suspend disbelief and everything like that. Well, when we suspend disbelief, we still carry over a lot of what we experience in the real world. You hire an electrician to work on the electricity. You don't hire a plumber or an auto mechanic to do this and just hope they roll well. Come on. Anyways, that's just my opinion on this. I feel that going forward, at least this is what I've been doing at my table, and I think you should be doing it at your table, and everybody should be doing this. In fact, I think Matt Mercer should be doing this. I think Matt Colville should be doing this. Nerdarchy should be doing this. WebDM should be doing this. I am going to blast them about this. I am a small YouTuber and a big one. I'm going to have a lot more content coming out about different things like this. But this is going to start it off. We're starting it off by stop rolling ability checks. Unless you are not proficient in it. Don't do it ever again. If you do it, it's just wrong. I need to get WebDM to do this. I can't remember what he says, but I love that guy. I think he's very animated. I think he's really cool. Anyways, that's all I have for today. I'll have more content coming out. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I know there's very little out there now, but I'm going to keep putting stuff out there. This is my workshop. This is my D&D place. This is this is where I like to roll. And hope to be able to make another video for you, and I hope you come see me soon.